Huh? Nah.
Me?
We're not.
Oh,
We're not.
do you want me to go next?
Hello and welcome to Juxtaposition, the show about differences. My name is Callum and I'll be your host today. Since this is our first show, I'll give you a quick rundown of how this will go. I have two guests with me today, representing two opposite communities. I'll ask them both a few questions, and by the end of the day, we should all understand a little bit more about the different cultures that make up our society. Our guest for today will be representing the different ways in which we grew up. Our first guest will be representing the product of a British household. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello, I'm Jack McGuinness. I was born in a British household, and yeah, I was British parents, just completely British.
Well, moving on to our second guest, they represent the product of a Somalian household.
What is the tea?
Please, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mikhail Bail and I grew up in a Somali household.
So, first up today will be the conversation. Firstly, I want to know, generally, how strict were your parents growing up?
Well, I mean, I suppose my parents were quite strict. It just depends on the situation. Say I got in trouble for doing something like severe, then they would be strict. However, if it was something small, they just really wouldn't care. But like, I wouldn't really have a bedtime until about, if it was like 10 o'clock later, they'd be like, okay, just get off now, because like, but yeah, I think it was more just so I weren't tired in the mornings, they didn't have to deal with me being annoying. But
Fair enough.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, how about you? How strict were your parents?
My parents weren't really strict, but until like he says 13, 12, 14, around that age, just kind of mellowed out. And a great example would be my hair. So if I had told my mom I want to go do my hair 2 years ago, 3 years ago, insane, I would be crucified. But now, I did it once, she said do it once only, then it became twice, three, and then it just became a normal thing. So it just kind of mellowed out.
Yeah. Did your parents ever allow you guys to go out and drink or party, or were they quite strict on that? Did they not let that happen?
It was more, I think, at the start, when I started drinking, I don't really drink that much, but when I started, my mum was like, oh, as long as you're drinking with us there and we know that you're in a safe environment and we haven't got a problem with it, you can drink as much as you want, just don't be like go over the top. But I think she was a little bit wary about me going out and drinking, depending on, because if I do it in a field, then it could be dangerous. But obviously she weren't like not letting me do it, she was just like, make sure you be careful what you're doing and make sure you're limiting yourself.
Yeah. So, Mikhail, how about you?
I don't really drink haram, but
Yeah.
if I want to go out, I could go out, chill, do whatever. But as long as I give them a heads up, I'll be fine.
Yeah. So, say you did something like that they didn't want you to do, something that they said, this is a no-go and we could never let you do this. What would the repercussions be like?
I'll probably be crucified, like I said earlier. You know, if my mom finds out that I did drugs, for example, nah, I can't run. You know, I just can't run.
So even when you grow up and you're past living with your parents, even would they still be
Yeah,
on that?
that's still my mom. So if she finds me on the streets like this, outside the Tesco's, she'll be very, very annoyed, angry. She's probably crying. You know, cut off contact. Probably no. Who knows? I don't know. But,
Jack, how about
I
you?
think it'd be more of a disappointment.
Yeah.
She'd be very disappointed in me because she said before how she doesn't want me doing drugs, she doesn't want me going near any of that stuff. Purely just to like make sure I'm being safe, but it's just more of the fact that if she saw me doing it, she'd feel disrespected and like not respected as a parent, of course.
Yeah. Well, we're out of time for this first conversation, but we'll be going for a short break now. Be sure to stay tuned because after the break we'll be asking our guests what they would do in hypothetical situations. For example, what would happen if you stole from your parents? As you just saw, we asked a hypothetical question to the public. Now, to ask you two the same thing. If you took money from your parents without asking, what would have happened?
God, I don't even want to think about it. It would have been very, very bad. She would have been, or my parents would have been very, very, like, as again, disrespected. I think everything about parenting is just disrespect. Like, you don't push a boundary, because if you do, it's just not right. Like you do with your friends. So I think it would be very, very bad if I did. Obviously, I think I'd have to pay it back, sort of, as well. So.
how much are you speaking? How much money have I took?
£10, and we'll change it as you answer.
Probably wouldn't buy it. I bet she would still be disrespected, like he said. Just don't do that again.
Yeah. Okay, well, because you brought it up, how about it's like 50, 100?
It'll still be this. It depends. Okay, if I took £1,000 or something along those lines, then it becomes proper serious. Like, talk to, but if it's something small, not small, but like if it's more like just I disrespected you. Now she won't talk to me for like a minute, and that's it.
We apologise for any language there, but Jack, how about you? Big money, like 100 quid.
Yeah, I think it would have been more like you're getting punished. Like you're not going out. You're gonna have to pay it back. You're not getting pocket money, etc. So yeah, it would be very bad.
Still on parents' reactions. How about if you got, say, a tattoo, something permanently on your body, a tattoo? How would your parents react to something like that?
I can't get tattoos, but if I really did get a tattoo, she probably won't speak to me for a very, very long time, because that's breaking all morals, you know.
Yeah.
That's if you have to classify the levels of disrespect, that would be like A1, you know. Then taking like a tenner, C1, you know. That's proper disrespect there.
Yeah. How about you? If you got a tattoo?
I don't think my parents would be that bothered. I think they'd be more. It really depends on the tattoo. I think if it's something like disrespectful, then I can imagine they'd be quite angry. But if I got something that was meaningful to me, they wouldn't really have any problem with it, because then again, they'd say, "Oh, well, it's your body. Just don't make a mess out of it." So.
Yeah. So slightly different, more on the actual household side of things. Do you guys have a curfew? And hypothetically, what would happen if you were to break that?
Okay, so I don't have a car, but right now I always have to kind of get home before the bus. Like, the bus or the train stops. Or then I just have to take an Uber. But if I did have a car, I could probably push it to like 1 a.m. And then it would be at 2 a.m. and then it becomes normal. But right now, probably about 11, 12.
Yeah. How about you?
I don't really have a curfew. I think because my parents go to bed really early.
Oh, yeah.
So I sometimes get home from the gym at about 10, 11. And like I could just stay out whenever I want. As long as I get home and I lock up afterwards, then they haven't really got a problem with it.
So we spoke about drinking last time. I know you can't drink, but let's say that you were out at a gathering with your parents, whether it be a pub or just a family gathering. and something broke out and a fight occurred between you and another person, and you had to fight this person, what would your parents think? Would they let you fight it, or would they try and bring the situation down?
When I was a kid in school, I won't say that I didn't get into a fight. There was very few times I did get into a fight, but they would get angry because I fought in school and get in trouble. But they always used to say, stand up for yourself. Like, don't get yourself disrespected in school or when you're in public. So they wouldn't care. They just wouldn't.
So they not incentivize it, but say like you can't back down. Like you have to stand up for yourself.
It's not like I can't back down. It's more like I'd rather you fight back
Then get
than
pushed around.
than being pushed around.
Fair enough. How about you?
Yeah, I think it was the same for me. It depends on the situation. If I'm in the wrong, then they'll say, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. Don't fight him, etc. But if they want, say I'm getting bullied, and this guy's bigger than me, there was always the phrase like, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So I always got told that. It never worked, but it was it was always that.
Well, thank you to our guests for joining me, but that's all the time we have today. Scratch that. 5 more minutes. Do you guys have anything to add on any of your questions? On anything you've said so far? Do you have anything that you'd slightly like to touch on?
Yeah, I think there was more when my parents were... So when I got to an older age, my parents were my friends. So I'd say we went out and we went, I don't know, to a football game. We'd all have a laugh together and we can all make jokes with each other, and it's no like... I don't know if it's different for you, but there's a very much like closeness. I guess it depends on the family, but we're all very close and we can all make jokes together, so...
Yeah. Do you have that? Do you have?
I mean, I did get closer to my mum as I got older, but that's about it. You know,
Yeah.
I can do the same things as he does, but it doesn't really change, does it? So
Yeah.
just
well, they're still your parents at the end of the day.
yeah,
but can you sit comfortably with them and say things that you would say to your friends, to your parents, like treat them as
I don't know about that
as
one,
an
but
equal?
maybe half of it.
Yeah.
Maybe half. Like, I'm not gonna say
Half of who you really are outside.
It's not like who I really am, but like, would you tell your parents everything you do?
No.
Exactly. You wouldn't. That's about it. Yeah.
Well, speaking on that, it's a good question of how different would you say you are with your friends than with your parents? How different do you feel you'd act?
Yeah, a lot different. I think if I acted how I did with my parents, with my friends, I think I'd be sleeping on the pavement. It would be very, very weird. It wouldn't be nice at all. But yeah, but there is like some sort of just like friendliness there. You can make a joke with them, like you can like have a bit of banter with them. It's very funny.
How about you?
I don't know where the line stops. So, let's say, for example, about 40% of what I say or probably do can fly, but it'll be more like, okay, so that's what you do, that's what you say. But anything but beyond that, it's more like, is this really the same person? That's my son, you know. I don't condone this, you know. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Have your parents ever seen you acting with your friends and reacted to that in any way?
Never.
They have.
Yeah,
Can't get
I
close
think
to
there's bits obviously I get online with my mates, and obviously they can hear me from downstairs.
Yeah.
Oh, the things the things I've said and the things that they've heard is.
Have they ever
you
talked to
can't
you about
repeat
it?
Oh yeah. They talked about it. It's like, what are you saying upstairs? It's like, oh god, there's no way you heard that. I can't speak to
But
them.
nothing in person though. Nothing
No.
directly.
Do you know this though? So when Fortnite was at its height,
Yeah.
so I'm like 15, 16 at most. Actually no, 14, 15. So I used to get really angry, and I used to say some dumb stuff. It wasn't my mom getting onto me. It was my auntie. So she would banter about it. So I'm not gonna repeat what I said, but
Yeah.
she would say, "Why do you say that stuff?" And I just say, "It's just a slang, you know. That this is a really provocative word now as well. So it's just a slang." But my mum won't really say anything, but she can hear me as well. If my auntie hears it, she can definitely hear it, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't question it. Yeah.
You mentioned your auntie. Do you have a connection with your aunt and uncle that you do with your parents, or is it slightly more removed?
I think this is a little bit more removed, but whenever, like, say a family gathering, which is constant, we always have family gatherings, there is, like, you can have a joke with them. Like,
Yeah.
you say, oh, do you want, like, a beer? It's like, yeah, go on then, why not?
Yeah.
Do you know is? So, me, uncles, cousins, aunties, all like. So
One big family.
yeah, for example, the way I could act with my mum, my cousins can do the same thing with my mum too. So they know where the line is. We
Yeah.
all know where the line is, and then we're cool with each other. So that's yeah.
Do you, I'm not expecting you to live in the same house, but are you quite close? Like, would you meet together for often, like for any gatherings or something?
Gatherings, not. It's not that it's not so much, but it's like it's every now and then. But I usually chill with my cousins.
Yeah. So you see your cousins as like friends?
Yeah.
Almost. How about you? Do you have any
Yeah.
cousins that you see as friends?
Yeah, my cousins are, like, my mates as well. Thing is, they're all younger than me, so I feel a little bit, like, odd,
Yeah.
like, being friends with them, but, like, they're funny at times, yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me today, but that is all the time we have. Join us next week for when we discuss the topic of neurodivergent versus neurotypical. See you next time.
What I mean?
Neurodivergent, neurotypical.
What does that mean?
It's a way your brain thinks, essentially.
I'd love to be on that show. Bring me on next week.